UFC 318 is right around the corner, taking place in New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm Minty Bets, and to get a little insight on the much anticipated main event is UFC featherweight champion Alexander Volkanovski. Alex, the main event is a BMF title bout, and most importantly, Dustin Poirier's retirement fight. He's 30-9 with one no contest in his UFC career. Former champ, one of the greatest and probably one of the most respected fighters in the game. Now, when you hear the name Dustin Poirier, what is the first word that comes to mind?
Yeah, he's just a gamer. He's always bringing the fight. He loves using his hands and he loves getting in there and doing his thing. So it's that's why this weekend. It's going to be so exciting. So I cannot wait for it. But yeah, just a gamer. Honestly, he's whatever's in front of him, he's gonna bring the fight every single time.
Absolutely. He's fought everyone from Connor to Khabib, Charles, Jim Miller, Max Islam. I mean, everyone. In your opinion, which fight defined his career the most, and which was the most memorable Dustin fight for you?
All right. So yeah, which one to find? Okay, good question. There's some fights that come to mind that I just remember and I just blown away by. Well, the Dan Hooker and his fight, I just remember that just the noise of the contact because there was no crowd and I was just absolute savage fight. But his fights with Max, like his last fight with Max as well, was another big fight. The Gaethje fights, like there's so many. Like that's the thing, right? He's fought the best so many times. That's it. So he's just had an incredible career with incredible fights. There's so much that comes to mind. One that defined him, I guess. It's a really good question. I'll go with the Max. I'll go with the Max second one. So I'm glad they're gonna be doing like the trilogy. You know what I mean? I know he's 2-0 on Max right now, but I still think they were, very, like the last one was a very fun fight, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this one goes now that Max is doing the proper bulk for this fight.
Yeah, I'm so glad you actually named the Dan Hooker Dustin Poirier fight because I didn't really get into the UFC until the pandemic. So that
Mm.
was one of the most memorable fights for me. So I'm glad you remember that.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah, it was. I just remember hearing that contact, and I was just because I'm good friends with Dan Hooker, and
right.
obviously I know Dustin Poirier, and I just remember hearing the cracks and the sound. I was like, oh no, this is a savage one. But yeah, I guess that's a part of the game, right?
Yes, that's why, in my opinion, Apex fights are pretty cool, like when you're there in person, because you can hear everything, and the fans normally don't get to hear that.
Exactly.
All right, the BMF belt is on the line at UFC 318. Dustin Poirier versus Max Holloway. Dustin is the slight favorite here, and he most recently lost to Islam Makhachev. Prior to that, he's been a little inconsistent, but he's been in some wars. What are the keys to victory for Dustin here?
Keys to victory for Dustin. So yeah, he's the one who's got the wins, right? So does he need to change much? I think he does. I think he does because Max. It's going to be a different Max in there, like especially since their last fought. Max was more of a volume striker, a game guy. He's still very technical, but he relied on his volume striking, standing in front of you and tiring you out. Now he's got a lot more movement. So I think for Dustin, I think man, I feel like he still needs to bring the fight to Max, rely on his hands, but at the same time, be wary that Max isn't just going to stand in front of him. So he's going to have to be ready to sort of try and cut Max off, which is going to be difficult, and still let his hands go because I think you could still. I think his cardio will still hold up against someone like Max Holloway. Dustin showed that he's does have a gas tank. He's going to need it with someone like Max Holloway. And I think he should try and bring the fight. Max is coming off a KO loss. So this is the first time that's ever happened to Max. So will Max be that little bit more hesitant to pull the trigger? Will he be a little bit more easier to control and get on the back foot and things like that? So I think Dustin Poirier, with his power, could maybe use that to his advantage.
All right. And as you mentioned, Max is kind of a different fighter since these two last met, but Max most recently lost to ILIA in October. Prior to that, he was on a 3-fight win streak, including spoiling Korean Zombie's retirement fight. Now, you mentioned Dustin is up 2 fights against Max. What does Max need to do to get the win in this matchup?
So as I was saying with Max, earlier on in his career, he was really good at what he did. Like, even though he was a volume striker, he was really good at the way he approached that. But I think ever since our sort of fights, and Dustin Poirier's fights, he's sort of been like, oh, I need to change it up. I can't just rely on that. I'm going to have to rely on a little bit more movement, maybe using more tools. And that's what you've seen in some of his later fights. And I think that's going to be key for this one. If Dustin's expecting the same max, he's going to probably be in for a rude shock. So I think he needs a bit of movement. Play a sort of long games, play on the bit on the outside, and just find his opportunities to come in. So that's like I said last time, he would stand in front where Dustin can really let his hands go, and so could Max. But that sort of favoured Dustin with Max moving up a division. But now Max is more of a lightweight. He's filled out. He's done it properly. That's why his last cut to featherweight probably would have been a tough one for him. Where now, him moving up, he can sort of back himself a little bit, but he's going to need that little bit more footwork. He's got to try and be confident out there. As I said, he's coming off a KO loss. It's never happened. Is he going to want to pull the trigger? Is he going to want to grapple? Is he going to want to change it up? We don't know, but I think he needs to definitely use a bit of footwork, use his range, and just try and pick Dustin apart, which will be hard.
It will be very difficult indeed. Now, in the NFL, there is a saying that it is hard to beat the same team twice. Although it isn't impossible, it is quite rare to beat the same fighter 3 times in the UFC. Of course, we want to see Dustin retire with a win in his home state of Louisiana, but I'm kind of leaning Max Holloway here, especially if he is going to be a slight underdog. So, who do you think wins this? Does Dustin get the sweep in this trilogy?
I think I'm going with Max as well. I think Max is definitely leveled up his game. I think he's got really good strategy, and he really knows and understands. He doesn't just know range and he'll just out of range. He really understands. He really gets it. He really knows how to make people miss, how to get them out of position and capitalize. So I think that's going to be a key for him in this fight. It's just what Max is going to turn up after his last loss. That's the only thing I'm worried about. If that loss didn't happen, they were fighting, I would take Max. I'd be quite confident in Max getting the victory. But now he's coming off a KO loss. I want to see, how does that affect him? Because, I know from experience, it ain't easy bouncing back and, getting your head through that. But in saying that, I know what Max is like. He's pretty stubborn, probably like me. And he's got his head screwed on. So I think he knows how to, all right, this happened, but that's the past. I can bring this one back. So that's why I'm still going to lean towards Max on this one.
Yeah, and it is a coin flip. I mean, this is a really tough fight to call. Now, if you had to choose a method of victory for this fight, how do you see this one ending? 5 rounds is a lot, but both of these guys can go probably 6 rounds.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why I think it's going to be a decision win for Max. But I think it's going to be a very exciting fight, as it always is whenever these two guys fight. So it's going to be a cracker for everybody. And yeah, I think it's going the distance. Two really tough guys. So yeah, I can't see a finish unless there's a submission. Unless someone wants to take it to the ground and maybe get a submission finish, maybe we could see that. But I doubt. I think it's going to decision.
Right. All right. Next, we are going to play a little game, Alex. You are going to build your ideal UFC fighter. Tragically,
Okay.
this fighter cannot have all of your attributes. So you are forced to choose different fighters per characteristic. Let's start with power. Now, you've gone up against some heavy hitters. Anybody in mind when you think of power or maybe a different division?
Okay. Yeah. So I'm not even going to choose me for any of them. So
Okay.
let's go. All right. For power. All right. So I'm allowed to use heavyweights, right? So you're going to have to go with, your heavyweights and power. I'm going to have to go with Tom Aspinall for power. I'm going to go with
Ooh.
the most powerful. Well, I think he's. I mean, I could put him in a lot of these, to be honest. But I'll say Tom Aspinall because he's a heavyweight, and I think he could make the name on most of this list. So I'll go
Okay.
Tom Aspinall.
All right. How about striking?
Striking. Whew. I mean, Ilia's last performance was incredible. You do have a Pereira. We haven't seen any real blemishes. Anything bad from ILIA, right? So
Mhm.
I think you might. I will go ILIA striking for his boxing. I'm going to go with that.
I love it. Okay, how about ground game?
Ground game. Let's go Islam Makhachev.
Ah, okay. Chin or durability?
Chin and durability. All right. So they're the same. Chin and durability.
Yeah.
All right. I mean, it would have. Could you still put Max up there? I mean, he was a goat when it comes to chins, but obviously coming off a loss, maybe that doesn't make as much sense right now. Coming off a KO loss, but Pantoja's he hasn't been finished before, has he? Has he ever? Yeah, I don't
No.
think he's ever been finished. He's got an incredible chin. What about
Uh-huh.
someone's chin that holds up in the heavyweight division? Because that is saying something. If it's someone that can, yeah, I'm getting too technical. I always take ages with these things, so I get right into detail. I'm trying to think of a heavyweight that's got a great chin. Heavyweight that's got a great
Ooh.
chin. Can you think of any? Can you give me a hand with this one?
I would have said John Jones, but he retired, so maybe that doesn't count.
Okay, yeah, light heavyweight or heavyweight? Someone
Lightweight?
that's been eating big,
I mean,
big
Pereira
punches
Pereira
from
took some big
heavyweights.
shots against Khalil.
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
Uh,
obviously he did. Easy has that KO.
mhm,
It's a
mhm.
tough one. Oh man! All right, you know
I
what?
would I think Drew Dober, but he has been finished,
Yeah, all
in
right.
the
Just I'm going to
recent
go. Look, pound for pound anyway. You're going to go with the weight. I'm just going to go with Pantoja, even though I said I was going to go a heavyweight. I'll go Pantoja because it holds up, so it
right,
makes sense
and
coming off the win.
yeah, and I believe I read a stat that he hasn't been knocked down in several fights even, so that's pretty
Yeah,
impressive. Alright, last one, cardio.
cardio. Oh, I'm going to Marab. Has to be Marab.
Oh, yes, very good one. Marab does it with a smile on his face too, it's crazy, he's crazy.
Literally, and that's I'm known for my cardio, but yeah, I'm not. If I'm smiling, I'm still faking it because I'm still feeling it. But like I'll accept it and keep moving on. He literally just doesn't. It seems like he doesn't get tired at all. So
Yeah.
it's pretty impressive.
Very. All right. After Ilia Topuria won, Paddy Pimblett jumped into the octagon, said he wanted to take on Topuria. What are your thoughts on fighters doing that and calling out champs like that? Do you think they have the right to do that? Is it all fun and games?
Yeah, I mean, it's good to hype up the next fight. It needs to happen. It's just a tricky situation. You got Paddy Pimblett that got in there. You had Arman Sarukian who was the weighed in for the fight. And then you got so many other guys as well. You got Max and Dustin fighting. Max off a big win. There's so many. I think the lightweight division. There's a few names that, especially if Max goes and does his thing, is his name right up there again. You got Arman, you got Paddy, you got man. There's so many of them, so but I'm okay with that. You asking if it's okay for people to walk in? Is that what you mean? They're doing
Yeah,
the
people to
face
walk
off.
in and like call him out like right after the fight.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think it's a part of the game, So I don't mind. Obviously, you got to let him have your moment, but Ilya was happy to have him in there, so I'm okay with it.
How do you feel about Joshua Van and Alexandre Pantoja? I'm absolutely loving it. I mean, Josh Van, no one really knew his name until several weeks ago, and now he's like, supposed to. People want him to fight for the belt, and Pantoja agreed to it. I think I absolutely love it.
Oh, for sure. After that fight as well, right off that fight, the hype of that fight, ride it. Take that into the next one. I think that's a good smart move. There was a lot of eyes on that event, so it's yeah. I think that's the fight to make, mate. What a fight that was! Oh man, I can't believe it. I was there, obviously live. He was insane. I can't wait to watch that back. I want to watch that back on film, and just
Mhm.
because then you can really, really appreciate it even more. But yeah, it was absolutely insane. But I think it'll be interesting that one. I want to know what Pantoja is going to do. He's so tough and he's durable, like we've been just saying. Is he going to take the risk and see how long his chin can hold up? Because someone like Joshua Van, so explosive, so fast, maybe just going straight to the ground is the option there.
Mhm.
But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that was an amazing fight, and I kept getting blown up on my phone like, "Oh, there's gonna be a finish here, there's gonna be a finish," and it looked like there were gonna be several finishes throughout that fight, but I was like, "No, these guys are too strong." All right,
Mm.
before we wrap up, let's play a little bit of this or that. It'll be very quick, cooking edition. Are you
Okay,
ready?
I'll try. I'll try and be quick.
Okay.
I
No,
like to ramble.
there's no rush. All right. Let's go. Butter or olive oil?
Oh, yes. Olive oil.
Tacos or pizza?
Tacos or pizza? Ooh, yeah, tacos. Tacos is good. Why I like tacos. I love pizza. I'm here in New York. Got to obviously eating some incredible pizza, but tacos you can eat that all year round. Even when I'm in camp, training and that, I feel like you can still do it. Pizza, I might have to stay off. So I'll say
Mm,
tacos.
okay. Breakfast or dinner?
Breakfast or dinner? Mm, dinner. Dinner, because you get to, end of the day, you get to properly enjoy it. Breakfast usually feels a little rushed.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'll go dinner.
Oh, steak rare or steak well done?
Rare.
Hmm. Meal prep or freestyle cooking?
Freestyle cooking.
Pasta or rice?
Pasta or rice? All right, I'm gonna. Yeah, most people might disagree with this. I'm gonna go rice. I think rice is. I can eat pasta obviously in camp as well. Rice is just. I guess there's a lot you can do with it, and maybe slightly lower cal. You know what I mean? Here, I'm always conscious. Even I'll go into detail with everything. I'm like, yeah, look, if I had to choose between the two, at least I know I could have the rice all the whole way through camp. Even
Hmm.
though I probably can do that with pasta, but I'll say rice.
Yeah, pasta's more filling anyway, like too fast.
Yeah.
And lastly, Vegemite, yes or no?
Yes, yes. You
Yes.
just you just need to know. Have you had Vegemite before?
I have it in my kitchen. I haven't tried it yet. My friend from Australia brought it for me. She says put it on toast and butter. Is that the way to eat it?
Yes, yes. But I'm going to tell you exactly how to do it because every time someone tries a Vegemite, they just get a spoonful and then pass it to someone to eat it, which we don't eat it like that. I can't eat it like that. It's just way too strong. So toast, yeah, bread, toast it, butter, and then just a little bit of Vegemite. Literally
Okay.
just a little bit, not too much, and beautiful. I love it. I have it. That's usually my breakfast because it's I need to quickly get carb in before training. I'll chuck some toast in, butter, Vegemite, and it goes down great every single time. And it
Interesting.
still
And it
hasn't got old. I've done that literally, 80% of my breakfasts have probably been that my whole life.
really and it's I'm assuming healthy because it has the word veggie in it. Is that right? Is it healthy-ish?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's salty, so I know
It
there's it's probably not too bad. I don't know the calories will be fine because it's that strong. You don't need much of it, so I'm sure it's fine for you. Yeah,
okay. Oh, I'll go try it after this call. Now
give it
before
give it a crack. Trust me.
Okay, I will. I'm a little scared, but all right. Before we wrap up, I do get a lot of my non-UFC followers wanting to become fans, but they do not know where to start. I want to ask you, if
Mm.
someone was interested in getting into watching UFC, what is one fight you would tell them to watch to make them fall in love with the sport?
All right. See,
There's so many.
I'm getting technical again. I was going to go, all right, I can go and just get this big brawling fight that, like, everyone's going to appreciate. But if you're trying to bring someone into it, are they ready for that crazy contact straight away? Do we want to ease them into, a bit of a, mm, you could sit there, maybe your Max Holloway and Gaethje,
Yeah, I was thinking
just
that.
because 25 minutes, and then just the way it finished, right? And then just like I think that
Wild.
could that yeah, I mean just the storyline to it all as well. Explain the storyline to it, and he's like, oh, he's up. He does. He's up
Mhm.
probably 4 rounds already. A very incredible fight. He's pointing to the ground. Let's go. He's risking it all for his BMF belt, and then or for the BMF belt, and then just gets that knockout on the last second. I think that's the fight to show.
Yeah, I think that is a good one as well. And real quick, you just came back from Vegas for International Fight Week. I know you had a lot of appearances and gigs, but I want to know, as a Vegas local myself, what is your ideal Vegas vacation like? I mean, it's not media day all week. What is it? Spa day? Go see a show? What do you like to do when
Yeah,
you're in Vegas for vacation?
yeah, we're just we're usually just I'm usually there fight week, so it's always pretty
It's
busy. But I mean,
always
days
work.
that I'm not, yeah, I guess we're just chilling. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm not away from whenever I'm away from home, I make sure I'm working. That's the only thing. If I'm away from my family, I'm working. So if it's not fight week like it was when I was over there watching the fights last time I was there, I'm at least shooting a heap of content, and you know what I mean. I'm just going to make sure I'm making the most of being away from home. So yeah, I'm usually out and about shooting content all fight week shenanigans. So it's just yeah, we don't muck around. We just get stuck into it. Keep busy that way.
Always working. That does it.
Always
Alexander
working.
Volkanovski, everyone. Thank you to FanDuel for bringing us together. And thank you, Alex, for your time.
No worries. Thank you.